the Lazarus match. The Lazarus.
Not quite getting there.
It does, transfer over apparently. But no, what happened was that Crank was not going to be able to because of scheduling conflict, and Acer Bly, he was the 3rd place in the group, so. Bam, he's here now, ready to go in his EVZ once more.
Yeah, he's got to be very pleased with that kind of fate lining up and getting him back into this. And he's got to make it count, obviously, but he's up against a formidable foe because Sacsri is not to be messed with.
No, not at all. We saw him doing pretty strong as well. He's one of the newer members of My Insanity, and he's just a very strong player overall. I don't know if he streams quite a bit anymore. I know he did a lot before, but he's one of those players that's not afraid to show his playstyle. And Bly is a player that you see a lot in these online competitions. And also a player that loves to make these lings early, depending on... Doesn't even matter what the matchup is, man. Didn't we see him do this pretty much every time? And I don't remember if it was his ZVTs or his ZVPs, but I want to say his ZVTs. Always trying to catch his opponent off guard.
Yeah, I think you're right. I just can't quite remember, because on that day there were a couple of Zergs, and I can't remember who it was that Sacsri defeated to make it through.
I believe
I'm trying to work out.
Going into
he was in
the group with Hydra.
That'll be who it was. Oh yeah, I remember, because he beat Hydra 2 times out of 5, but actually advanced because of when he beat him.
Yep.
Yeah, because he lost the first best of 3 and then won the second in the Lazarus match.
Exactly.
Lazarus final, perhaps.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, it was not looking too good for him actually, and they rematched. And
no, I'm seeing Bly getting ready to put on some aggression outside the base of Sacsri, actually, on the note of things that he needs to watch out for, and he's he's put all those babies outside, getting ready to run in. There is a spine crawler of Sacsri that gets hit quite a lot by the Banes, but there's another one, actually. So even with a couple of these lings going down, the backup spine is going to make this pretty much an easy hold for Sacsri. Those queens in a great position on the ramp, denying all the entrance into the main.
Yeah, that second spine really helped. I was a little bit afraid because that other one was trying to get rooted, and unfortunately, I was like, uh-oh, I don't think he's going to be able to, hold on. He might be able to get a lot of damage done here by Bly, but that second spine really is going to prevent this from doing too much. Oh, but not if he lifts it up here again. I don't think Bly sees this, though, and they're getting trapped. The lings are trolling this spine crawler, and Sacsri's not going to play around, dance with the... Ooh, that was a little bit close, but... Got a little nervous there.
Yeah, and he's not out of the woods yet for certain. You've got to remain a little bit nervous, because that's a lot of lings and a lot of scary Banes that are heading towards the natural. He's going to be sending those in, trying to dance them in, and he's denying the mining, to be fair. Just for a moment, the Bane's now circling around the back, trying to get some drone kills, but the Queens are just going to try and focus those down, and actually getting in the gaps in the mineral line, walling out. That was really nice positioning out of Sacsri. Excellent control.
This is like the best that he can do here, but Bly also, keep in mind, sacrificed his natural in order to make this happen. So as long as he's denying the mining from that natural hatchery, he'll at least be doing the best that he can. The live is still going to be produced, which is a little bit unfortunate, but at least he's denying the mining. He could be a lot worse position, but Sacsri now is feeling pretty comfortable. All you really need to do is get a lot of queens out, and then get that energy built up, and Sacsri has quite a few queens here. He's up to 5 already.
That is a lot of queens for ZVZ.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's great as well, because it's for the defense, but it's a smart decision, and I really like it. So that's just going to mean that Bly, now taking his hatchery on the natural, going to get himself back into the econ stead. But Sacsri's had that extra base for ages, and he's going to be he's already ahead in drones. He's just going to keep droning and then make some lings at the point where we see this push forward out of Bly get fully defeated, and it's going to be really difficult for Bly to actually do anything after this.
Yeah, for sure. I think Bly only got 5 kills with that attack, and Sacsri did invest a lot, I guess, into this. So queens aren't going to be like the most useful, but they're still great to have. You can spread creep over, especially if you're going to be getting your lair up first, going into roaches, which is what he wants to do. He could be perfectly fine and even utilize the queens if Bly decided to go mutas, or just bring them with the roaches to transfuse. with the creep highway, the overlords are already in a position to do that when the lair does finish. So
and nearly finish it well. It's just on its way now, but the lair of Sacsri is already complete as those spines move down with the queens to chase away the overlords and the aggressive units. So he's getting a decent lead on his tech there over his opponent.
Yeah, and look at the tech choice that Bly does decide to go for with the Spire. And I feel like it's like you force out all these queens and then you're gonna go Spire. It's almost like this is like the most ideal situation. We saw who was it that couldn't get into the position where they wanted Hyun. You know, where the queens were just getting out. These queens have been out for a long time, and as long as Sacsri can get that information, he should be able to conserve that energy.
I love this creep spread as well. It's going to be so useful for roach attacks. The queens are keeping the Banes and Lings away as well, so generally denying the scouting and the vision for Bly. So he's going to have even less of an idea, and the roaches will have that boost of speed when they finally get out on the map that they might need to go and put on some harassment. And I think when he's going to move out with this first little wave of roaches and try and do something, because keeping these at home doesn't seem very sensible. If you send these out, you can immediately put the hurt on your opponent a little bit, and when he doesn't have his mutas, his tech choice that he's still trying to get out, the roaches are going to move up and do some damage.
Yeah, they're going to have 1-1. Roach speed is already completed. And Sacsri, I think he has, he saw the Spire, so he's going to choose to go to Infestor, Roach Infestor Queen for the most part. And rather than just going for the kill, he's going to go ahead and deny the third of Bly. And as he gets his third up of his own, that should be a good position to be in. But
I
maybe he felt like, you can go up. The Spine Crawlers, he didn't know exactly when they were going to finish, but a few reinforcements getting picked off here for Bly, or by Bly.
Yeah, Bly's trying to just make do with what he can because he knows that he can't really fight this whole roach force, especially not now it has +1. But the mutas are going to pop out, and although they do almost no damage to roaches can't do any damage to them, so eventually these forces are going to get cleaned up, or at least have to go home for Sacsri. But for now, he's just content to chase around, generally tank the damage on his fairly thickly armored roaches, and see what he can make happen.
Yep, and he's going to be forcing this back. He's down by a few drones. He did lose his third, so he does have to remake that. And is there going to be any damage here? Counter damage from Bly, because he does need to get some damage done. Good bailing hits on top of a lot of those drones, but these queens are going to allow these this base to be a little bit safer because there's 2 spore crawlers, and already having that many queens, as we were saying, it just makes it so much easier to defend this third. I think he's going to be alright, especially because he's going to be going into the Infestor and with Hydra. So he's going for Roach Hydra Infestor completely. And he can do so because he's going to be on the 3-base economy.
Yeah, I mean, that is a really gas-heavy comp, so I think we might see a general taking towards a 4th base for Sacsri, and that could be a bit challenging to secure properly with a Mutalisk force out on the map, but I'm sure it can be done. It's not an impossible task by any stretch, with these queens, as you said, with the good static defense doing so much damage to the Mutalisks as well. So this looks pretty good for Sacsri at this point in time. He is just going to generally retain map control and tech up to the confident part of the game where he's got the Hydras, where he's got the Infestors and feels safe to take the mutas.
Yeah, and I feel like when you go for a comp like this, you need time to build it up. So the Infestors are going to have to get their energy. There, 7 of them are popping very soon. And then the upgrades that you have to invest. He skipped out on his 2-2, so Bly may be able to come back with this. Oh no, I thought he was going to go for roaches himself, but it looks like he's getting roach speed, but he's going for melee upgrades, so wondering what his choice is going to be, because he did drop an infestation pit of his own, and a bit of a just got to do what you got to do with these mutas. Best
Maybe it's Hive. I mean, Hive would be an unusual style to go for in ZVZ, but I'd kind of like to see it, just because going for that yeah, it is Hive.
It is.
So we might be seeing Ultralisks.
Yeah, that's interesting. And remember, he does have the Spire already, so he could go into Broodlord, but he's going to lose a few of his mutas here.
Yeah, Broodlord as well, actually. That makes even more sense than what I'm saying.
And he is going to lose a lot of mutas here. And just the time here. Does Bly have the time to get to any kind of Hive tech is the real question. You go for Broodlord, you have to morph in that Greater Spire that takes pretty much forever. You go for Ultras, and then they're pretty useless until they have the Carapace upgrade, or the Chitinous Plating.
Yeah, it's true. They certainly take a lot less damage once that kicks in. But it's 200 seconds. That's only 4 in-game minutes from the moment where you start making your Hive to the moment where you can really begin to morph Broodlords, which I think takes 17 on top of that. So that's 217 total.
Timed. Always And Catalina is a map that it's not that big here. You know, I mean, the way that they
No,
spawned, you can get from point A to point B, with point A being your base, B being your opponent's base, relatively fast. So Bly's just gonna have to use these roaches to counterattack, and he's using his mutas to kill off some of the hydras, and that's exactly why he went for that. Because if he did this with like lings or something, I feel like it'd be a lot easier to clean up. You see roaches and you get a little bit more nervous.
A little bit of a run by going on towards the natural, but being walled off by a roach force field a little bit. However, the orange roaches busting through a bit and then funneling the rest of the forces of Sacsri a little, so they get in and kind of do a bit of damage in the moment of time they have. Where are the mutas? Are they doing it? No, the mutas aren't doing anything. There's just not enough of them left after they engage those hydras. I think this is going to be cleaned up by everything Sacsri makes, and not losing all of that many drones because of it.
He needs to buy so much time here, because now the Great Aspire is not even halfway done. And these are the first 3 Corruptors going to hit the map. He has 14 more roaches though, and I don't know where they're going to be going. Yeah, Bly is splitting across the map, buying all this time. And even if he gets to Broodlord, he's not going to have any real support for it, because he didn't decide to go for Infestors or something. He didn't go for... well, he is going to go for the roaches, I guess, too. So that's going to be it. Roach Broodlord, I guess? It could work, maybe, you know.
That is a funky style. That is a funky style. Yeah, you nailed it with the Broodlord call. Definitely not going to be Ultras. I did think that was weird, but just couldn't quite work it out for myself. And these attacking forces of Bly are just not really making anything happen. They're trying so hard to do harassment, to generally keep Sacsri suppressed. But instead, these lings... Okay, those lings could have got that base, but now they might not.
Yeah, I mean, he's buying time, but if you look at the resources lost as well, he's almost at 9,000, and Sacsri is 4.5, so nearly doubling. And while he's buying the time, is it like he needs to have the most favorable engagement? Like the Broodlords need to be able to just obliterate everything, and they're pretty slow. So while they may be able to survive, I mean, how much damage is going to happen here? Because they're not going to be able to defend everything, not against the Roach Hydra Force.
No.
With Infestors as well.
I mean, that is kind of the question.
Yep.
I don't know. This feels kind of strange, because I feel like Hydras have the DPS to actually adequately deal with Broodlings and Broodlords pretty quickly. But at the same time, in this moment, there's nothing there. The Broodlings are just going to chase away all the forces. Infestors having to burrow out of there. And for the moment, it looks like the retreat is being forced. But Sacsri's mounting a counter-assault, trying to get back in there.
I think he's trying to get Bly out of position as well here, because now Bly doesn't have the safety of those spine crawlers, but the infested Terrans are going to go around the back, and the roaches and the hydras are on the left side, but go into the safety of that little zone where you can't see unless you have the high ground vision. That's exactly what Sacsri will do.
3 units fighting 3 units.
Who wins? Value, man.
No one wins.
Ultimate value, man. Oh man, I like Sacsri's response though. Instead of only relying on the Hydras and the Infestor, he's gonna go ahead and drop a Spire so that he can get some Corruptors too. And there is only 1 Corruptor in the sky here for Bly, so he doesn't really have a lot of defense for his Broodlords.
No, he really doesn't. The Spire is almost complete for Sacsri. He threw that down the second he saw those Broodlords, knowing that he's going to need something to deal with this. And it is just 13 Corruptors, a Corruptor hit squad. And if that flies in, when these Broodlords are so undefended, and of course Corruptors bonus versus massive air, I believe, and possibly armored even. So they're just going to fly in, pop, 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 straight down with those Broodlords.
Yeah, Bly is just kind of putting all of his eggs in his Broodlord basket here, because he's just hoping that Sacsri's going to say, I'm not going to even drop a Spire, but I think Bly is trying to do as much damage as he can to kind of cripple the economy of Sacsri, and while he's done a bit of damage, he hasn't crippled it. Like we saw 13 Corruptors coming out. He had enough to make that. And if you look at what Bly has, I think that's all he's going to need, to be honest. Like the Corruptors, I think Sacsri's going to be perfectly fine. There's nothing that can stop these Corruptors. Bly doesn't even have Spore Crawlers out here. Oh, but he does have some Corruptors of his own that are coming out. But it's only 3. And 13 is a 3 with a 1 in front of it.
Ooh, yeah, that is more. That is a bigger number. Never do maths on stream, kids. But here come those Corruptors, and doing exactly as predicted. They're just going to... Oh, the Corruption going down as well. They're going to be doing so much damage to all the units here. Killing... Oh, Transfuses, though. Nice Transfuse going down on those Corruptors, of course. But I don't think it's going to be enough. The general DPS of 13 Corruptors is just too much. The Infested Terrans being thrown out as well. Going to throw extra damage in. The Spine Crawler's going to be torn apart as the Roaches and Hydras surge in, the Corruptors pushing forward, crushing through the Overlords and the Corruptors alike.
Alright, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ASL Prime Season 3 Group B of the round of 16. This is game number 2 between these two players. This one spawning in the bottom left corner. It is representing my insanity, Sacsri.
And his opponent, up in the top right-hand corner, wearing the red and hailing from Team Acer. It is Bly. Bly, go for a hatch first.
Yeah, they did. Changing it up just a little bit here while Sacsri is thinking about last game perhaps and is like, alright, I'm going to open up with this pool first here. Just to be a little bit more safe. And it's with no gas either, so it's just like ultimate eco for at least for the time being. And he's going to most likely be in a very defensive spot. But even nowadays, you still see some aggressive plays coming out of Gasless, but we'll see exactly because Bly is doing the opposite. Despite going for the hatch first, he's still getting the gas.
Yeah. I'm wondering if he's going to be intending to transition out or just going for Roaches, maybe a little faster, hitting a timing, or whether we're going to see perhaps just a general kind of build towards Mutalisks with general macro in the back. It really can't be told at this stage of the game, but it's not too crazy. It's going to really come down to what Bly does once he takes that first 100 gas. Where's that going? Into speed, full mining being maintained. There you go.
You're right. Still going into it. And you know what? I mean, like we said earlier, he went into Muta's last game when he was behind. It doesn't mean that it doesn't necessarily mean that if he were to go Muta again, he's going to have zero luck doing it. If he can recognize that it's going to be Gasless out of Sacsri and can get really fast, greedy Mutas, he might be able to do something with them. We've seen Bly actually really like the Mutas in this matchup.
Yeah, so how do you identify when your opponent is going full gasless? At this point in the game, obviously you have to scout fully. You have to scout properly with these lings, and I guess that's what Bly's going to be intending to do as he runs these past, or if he runs these past. But at this point in time, maybe the presence of the extra queens could be enough to make him suspect.
Yep, and if he sees a spine crawler too, he may be able to at least think in his head, because you never know if it's a mind game as well. I mean, it's not necessarily the most efficient thing to do, especially if you're not going to be using the queen. I guess it's better to just make everything into drones, but you know, if you're not making lings to defend, then I guess it's not a bad thing. So we'll see exactly what Bly does. He puts down a very early Roach War, and this is incredibly early, and it's only off of one gas. So if he identified that from Sacsri and then drops down a Roach Warren, he's just going to try to bust on through here with a big Roach Ling attack, most likely. But I don't know how effective it's going to be. Oh, nice move here from Bly getting in, getting the full scout. Knows exactly what he's in for.
Yeah, and sees those gases finishing up as well, in addition to obviously scouting at the front. So it does look like we're going to be seeing a Roach style out of Sacsri. Double Evo and a Roach Warren with 2 gases being built in the main and nothing in the natural. That's pretty clear. I think we'll see a 3rd gas come down in the natural fairly shortly, and we could 2 gases actually. So this this is going to be tech as well in bit of distance.
Well, Sacsri's moving out with his queens, and you know what? Yeah, I don't know if he realizes what's going on here, because if he continues out there and tries to get a bit greedy, and he has identified something. I think he either saw roaches or I don't know what it was, but something triggered Sacsri to really play defensive here, because he's dropping spine crawlers everywhere. I'm assuming that it's these roaches, though.
I think it's got to be these roaches, man. Seeing those roaches move out, and when you've got the Overlord out on the map, you can kind of catch sight of it. I'm not sure if that Overlord did, though. Maybe he just felt it. Maybe it was just in his bones.
Oh, well, the hit's going to go down here. Bly is up by just a little bit of army supply, not much. The defensive posture for Sacsri is a little bit... It's really good. The Lings are going to get in, though. The transfuses have been expended, but the spine crawlers are now all getting up, and Sacsri has roaches of his own. He should be able to hold here just on the sheer fact that Bly can't really utilize those Lings very well, because he can't get the good surface area, and he's kind of attacking into a choke.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Not a naturally favourable engagement for our red Zerg at all. Moving out, the blue units are going to move it and try and drive him away, and I'm pretty sure they're going to succeed. What with their defender's advantage, or with those spine crawlers that I think were actually instrumental in the fight. So fantastic decision by Sacsri to make those.
As well as, the roach is popping out at the right time. But Bly, he is ahead in drones. He did lose a bit of units there, and didn't end up doing much of his own. But he does have his third on the way. Sacsri does not just yet. But he doesn't have his lair either, so Bly is really not in a terrible position. He's going to have his third up. He's going to have his speed, but the only guess he's not going to have is +1, because that's going to be finishing already for Sacsri before Bly's maybe even starting.
Well, he's certainly going to have roach speed sooner, as the lair is only just now completing for Sacsri. But this force is going to force, if you excuse me, a few units out of Bly. Just denying the droning time. Already we see 6 roaches being produced instead of any drones to saturate that third base. And meanwhile, Sacsri taking his own third on the gold.
Yeah, and I saw that. So that's actually a really nice move here from Sacsri. He already destroyed the rocks that lead there, so he doesn't have to go the scenic route and can just spread creep there. And that's a relatively easy defense if he gets these spine crawlers here. And if he's able to utilize that mining from there, then it's not so bad getting a later third, and then he's going to be able to defend it as long as he doesn't die here. I don't know just how much. Yeah, they're about evil armies. Equal army supplies.
Evil armies.
They're about equal army supplies, and his speed is going to be finishing here. It's already done for Bly, but Sacsri is just on the defender's advantage, so he doesn't really need it as much, especially because he has this little pathway that he made. So that's a very nice move, preemptively taking that out. But a good surround.
It could have been a surround, but then he got away with it. The units they pushed up. They kind of went, oh, hold on, there's stuff there, and to bail on out.
Yeah. Well, the Bly's still not going for +1 at all. He's not going for, does he? He's getting +1. Never mind. +1 attack, and 1/1 is going to be finishing here for Sacsri, who's already going to be mining from this gold. Bly wasn't able to break him, so this is going to be a little bit difficult for him. Even though he does have 4 more drones, it's about those gold minerals. It's all about the money, man. All about the Benjamins.
You gotta be careful. And the spending is very good of both these players actually. But Sacsri's just got the gold base, so he can acquire the additional Benjamins.
Yeah, and even just splitting off his roaches, he can take off this whole force by Bly while splitting off his roaches to go into the main or natural of Bly. So Bly has to decide where he's going to try to defend here and where he's going to rally his units to. Sacsri is coming from 2 sides.
Yeah, attacking into the natural now, being surrounded, but by a far inferior number of units means that he should be in a good spot to keep pushing this. And when you're in an econ war, as Roach versus Roach so often is, to have the upgrade lead, to have the positioning advantage now as this flank comes around the back, and to just have additional money in your opponent is the way forward. Sacsri knows that. That's why he's powering to the natural as the army of Bly drops away so fast. This is not looking good for our European Zerg. Oh, no.
GG, not at all. Sacsri is going to take it 2-0.
Yeah.
Man, pretty strong. Definitely much stronger ZVZ showing in his first match today. Didn't cheese.
No, did not cheese. Not